Zimo started reciting the poem, and as a result, everyone who heard it felt their mind blown away to a mysterious place. However, Zimo stopped and was surprised to see the dean kneeling on the ground. Upon hearing the poem, the dean realized that the verse was profound and poetic, providing a vivid image of life with its vicissitudes. Consequently, he praised Mr. Chen for being worthy of teaching a Confucian sage talent and believed he was an incredible existence. The dean then asked Zimo where Mr. Chen lived and expressed his desire to pay him a visit soon. If possible, he wanted Mr. Chen to teach at the academy and even thought of making him the dean, rendering Zimo speechless. Finally, the dean grabbed Zimo's hand and departed to seek Mr. Chen. Meanwhile, Chen Pingan received a new task to create a new sect, and it must be named Pingan. Chen Pingan clenched the system notification and asked if it was messing with him. Despite the fact that he was previously asked to join the mountain sect, he was fortunate enough to be given a position of an ancestor by the Moro family. However, the system's new demand for him to create a sect made him angry. Although the system did not care and gave him a 2-month deadline, he felt as if the system was obviously playing him to death. Realizing the gravity of the situation, he decided to ask the Moro family for a favor. However, before he could do anything, he heard someone calling him outside the courtyard. Curious, he opened the gate and was surprised to see Zimo, who had returned from the city earlier than expected. Zimo greeted Chen Pingan and introduced the dean, who was there to meet him. Chen Pingan was shocked when he realized that the dean was one of the top figures of the continent. The dean introduced himself as Chen of the younger generation, which left Chen Pingan astounded. As he looked at the dean, Chen Pingan noticed that the dean was another person sweating. He felt that the dean should not kneel if it hurt. He realized that he was not related to the Moro family, yet all the top figures knelt down to him and called him senior. Chen Pingan wondered when he had become invincible. Deciding to inquire about something from Dean Zhen, Chen Pingan's aura looked menacing as he asked if he appeared to be very strong. The dean suddenly kneeled, begging for forgiveness. Chen Pingan was shocked, but he just urged the dean to tell the truth. The dean wondered if Chen Pingan was angry because his seclusion was disturbed. Additionally, he contemplated whether Chen Pingan had descended to teach a talented disciple and enjoy mortal life in seclusion. Moreover, the dean believed Chen Pingan calculated his intention to make him dean, which disturbed his seclusion. Nevertheless, since he is allowed to tell the truth, the dean answers Chen Pingan had no power at all, adding he could not sense even the slightest bit of cultivation from him. The dean informed Chen Pingan that he was perfectly mortal. Consequently, Chen Pingan felt hurt upon hearing others rub it in. However, the dean advised Chen Pingan not to be polite and to just go by the name Zhenteng or Little Zhen. Despite the dean's suggestion, Chen Pingan declined his offer, which made him very uncomfortable. Observing the situation, Zimo noticed the dean's hand shaking and asked if he was in pain. The dean responded by saying he had gained enough from the meeting and proceeded to fly away with Zimo. Before leaving, he bid Chen Pingan goodbye. Looking back, the dean noticed that Chen Pingan did not attack him and believed that Chen Pingan had let him off the hook. Fortunately, the dean knelt in time, otherwise, he would have faced unimaginable consequences for angering seniors. As the dean looked at Zimo, he suspected that Zimo was the reason he could escape and decided to focus on training him. Chen Pingan stared into the distance. As he reflected on the situation, he realized that Zimo had read the poems he taught to the dean. As a result, the dean thought Chen Pingan wrote them. This led the dean to conclude that he was some literature master and come to admire him. Chen Pingan decided to forget about it and, in turn, thought about how to complete the task given by the system. However, he did not know cultivation, so it seemed like a joke for him to establish a sect. Therefore, he made the decision to visit the town and buy some cultivation books. Later on, as Chen Pingan walked down a secluded alley, he finally arrived at the 1000 bookstore. Upon opening the door, he immediately voiced his intention to buy a book and called out for Boss Duan. Surprisingly, a woman closed her book and recognized him as Mr. Chen. Boss Duan warmly greeted him, remarking that it had been a while since he last visited her shop. In response, Chen Pingan greeted her back and asked about her business situation. As she stood up from her seat, she replied that things were the same as usual and that she was just barely making it. She asserted that she was a weak woman trying hard to make an honest living by working tenaciously, so she really wanted to find a good family to marry. Chen Pingan replied that no one was worthy of Boss Duan, to which she asked who had decided on such a notion. Approaching him, she said that he was worthy, causing Chen Pingan to cough and blush in embarrassment as he suggested she should stop. He then asked if she had any books on cultivation with common methods, but she rebuked him for bringing up the books to change the topic and walked away. Chin Pingan wondered why he felt like Boss Duan had every book he needed. Suddenly, Boss Duan retrieved a book from the bookshelf and suggested that Chin Pingan read the name of her store carefully. The book was titled Cultivation for Dummies, and she generously gave it to him as a token of love, refusing to charge him. Delighted, Chin Pingan claimed that he would help her promote the place, but she declined the offer and simply asked him to come often. As Chin Pingan prepared to leave, he couldn't shake off the feeling that Boss Duan was giving him a familiar feeling. He was shocked and called out to her. Boss Duan then asked if he had changed his mind and if he was now willing to propose to her. Chin Pingan scratched his head as Boss Duan was joking again. Despite this, he appreciated her help and decided to invite her to his house. Boss Duan accepted his offer and mentioned that she would visit him if she had the chance. As Chin Pingan said goodbye and walked away, he couldn't shake off a strange feeling he couldn't explain. Meanwhile, Boss Duan watched him depart and muttered an apology as time was not upon them yet. She then snapped her fingers, and the 1,000 bookstore was illuminated with light. Finally, in a blink of an eye, the store vanished. Later in Chin Pingan's courtyard, he learned about cultivation and the countless opportunities in foods cultivators can use to enhance cultivation. He was shocked and jolted in his seat as he wondered what are the chances the Morong family and the others come because his meal increased their cultivation. However, by only eating dibao there is a slight possibility of a breakthrough and he buys all the rice from the town. It appeared to him they only enjoyed his cooking as it may not increase cultivation but it gave them a sense of satisfaction. Scratching his head, he resolves to confirm his theory with the Morong family, including the establishment of the sect. Suddenly, Morong Shua called out from the outside which Chin Pingan finds a coincidence. She just came in time so he asked her if she could pass a message from him. In response, she was surprised Chin Pingan predicted her arrival and revealed she come to deliver news of Mountain Sect and Magic Moon Sect merging into a new sect under his name. Moreover, they would like to name it but if he did not like the plan, they will cancel it. Chin Pingan was in disbelief so Morong Shua confirmed it was true and mentioned the entire sect would belong to him. He thought of a name and suggested the sect should be called Pingan, silently hoping it would not sound dirty. Surprisingly, Morong Shua found it good, not expecting the senior would be willing to name it after himself. While it sounded like she wanted to flatter him, he felt they always feel good about everything he said so he found it strange. He asked Morong Shua why they always call him senior while being very polite at the same time. Morong Shua answered that it was because of his strong cultivation. However, she suddenly noticed she had misspoken. On the other hand, Chin Pingan replied that he was just a mortal. So, he questioned where the strong cultivation she was talking about was. Morong Shua silently panicked as she realized she had forgotten about Chin Pingan's mind cultivation. At this moment, Chin Pingan saw her expression and felt like she would kneel down again. Therefore, he decided to stop despite not clarifying his doubts. Smiling, he asked her about the construction of the sect. Before she left, he invited her to eat. Morong Shua prostrated without warning. She declined his request and admitted they used to be greedy. Furthermore, she declared she had learned her lesson from the hidden sound stone and would never try to take advantage of opportunities again. As a response, Chin Pingan inquired if the chances she referred to were related to those meals, which made her feel petrified. She hurriedly ran away as she asked for forgiveness and reasoned she had something important to do, leaving Chin Pingan in confusion. He asked a bunch of questions that he felt like more significant problems but she only told him he was strong. Entering his house, Chin Pingan lamented if only he was really strong. Meanwhile, a twinkle appeared in the sky. A huge meteor from space can be seen streaking toward the mortal world. Later that night, the meteor entered the atmosphere. A woman asked if Luo Xiaojia would take responsibility for her. So he stated that the falling meteorite is about their love. He turned on his back and noticed that the falling meteorite was about to pass by near where they were flirting. Suddenly, Long Outyen appeared. Noticing that the couple are running away from the falling meteorite, he thought that the meteorite was a Hongzhe stone, and judging by its size, it must not belong to an ordinary person. So Long Outyen believed the falling meteorite was meant for Chin Pingan's house as if it had searched the universe for its rightful owner, but he lamented that he might not be lucky enough to see Chin Pingan make a move. Meanwhile, Phoenix saw the approaching meteorite plummeting, thinking that Chin Pingan's luck had brought about another disaster. After that, he handed the work to Little Fish because it was bigger than the last time. So Little Fish turned into a true dragon, telling Phoenix to watch over him. After that, the dragon collided with the meteorite and tossed it in another direction. At the same time, Long Outyen was surprised by the appearance of a true dragon in Chinpingan's yard. Discouraged that Chinpingan had other plans for the meteorite, Long Outyen quietly returned to his home. Consequently, Long Outyen believed that in the future, people would praise the house that had been struck by the meteorite as immortal. Simultaneously, the meteorite got struck the Thousand Feather Empire within one night. The kingdom was burnt and reborn. Prince Chenyu gained a superb physique and became a great talent of the continent, while the emperor broke through the Mahayana realm. Within a month, the imperial kingdom of Thousand Feathers has been renamed Thousand Feathers Empire and became the center of all power. A month and a half later, Chinpingan and Grandpa Morong were discussing current events. Grandpa Morong originally believed that they wouldn't be bothered by the empire, but recently, the princes brought up many people and ordered them to uncover the treasure. Chinpingan was surprised to hear that the sect's construction had stopped, as both the Mountain sect and the Illusory Moon sect couldn't resist the empire. With a concerned look on his face, Grandpa Morong informed him that although the foundation had been laid, work would not continue for some time. Chinpingan was startled and wondered why the hooligans had to show up now when there was only a month left until the system deadline. Chinpingan considered approaching Shushan Immortal Academy for assistance in resolving their conflict with the empire. So Grandpa Morong was astounded by Chinpingan's decision to allow the Shushan Immortal Academy to intervene on their behalf. But when Chinpingan realized he didn't have their dean's contact information, he subsequently felt depressed. He recalled Xiao Linger's influential father and contemplated seeking his assistance. So Grandpa Morong was once again surprised that the senior knew someone influential other than the academy. But he informed Grandpa Morong that Xiao Linger's father had just paid him a visit a month prior and that they would have to wait another month for him to pay him a visit again. As a result, Grandpa Morong was disappointed since he thought the senior should gather contact information from anyone since it wasn't difficult. In another place, the day began with a young girl ordering a group of people to work harder on digging out. The girl's name was Lu Yushi, and she was a princess of the Thousand Feather Empire with a bad attitude, telling the workers that the elderly women on the streets are far stronger than them. Noticing the workers' dissatisfaction, she asked if they were satisfied, and if not, she threatened them to fight with the guard next to her. The bald man guarding Lu Yushi was an immortal cultivator from the Transcendence realm. Right watermelon was served to Lu Yushi moments later, but Lu Yushi berated her shaking servant, calling her useless and asking how she dared to shake. She criticized her for taking too long to retrieve a melon and disparaged the people around her as being trash. So Morong Su, the girl who served Lu Yushi, became irritated. Unconcerned, Lu Yushi took a bite of the watermelon and threw it at Morong Su, telling her that it was not tasty and requesting that she get another. Eventually, Morong Su clenched her fist in rage. But Lu Yushi noticed this and asked her if she did not want to follow her orders. So Morong Su tried to relax as she saw Grandpa Morong approaching. She inquired to her grandpa about what Chinpingan had said. Grandpa Morong told Morong Su that it is inconvenient for Chinpingan to take action himself and that he is certain that other arrangements will be made. So Morong Su got depressed by what her grandpa said. Suddenly, the earth quaked. Morong Su and Grandpa Morong looked quickly at the dug ground area. The ground shook so violently that the workers rushed to evacuate the dugout area, but Lu Yushi ran towards the man-made crater, shouting that there must be a treasure about to be born. Suddenly, a huge serpent-like creature dug himself out of the crater and appeared in front of Lu Yushi, prompting her to wonder what the serpent-like creature was. The snake-like creature attacked her, wounding Princess Lu Yushi near her right eye, causing her to scream. The workers were shocked and quickly ran for their lives in fear. But one of the workers recognized it was a black serpent. Meanwhile, Princess Lu Yushi quickly got back up and ordered her bodyguard to stop the black serpent from rampaging. At that moment, Long Outyen stepped forward and told the black serpent that he couldn't kill anyone with him there. Surprised, Lu Yushi looked at the man who just arrived and immediately knew him as the man who owned the Tianzuan Tower, so she asked Long Outyen to take her out of there. However, Long Outyen, with a puzzled expression, had no idea what Lu Yushi did there. Long Outyen thought that after his previous breakthrough, there was no way to release his power, and the Black Serpent was at the peak of the Mahayana realm. So he smirked as he believed that the Black Serpent was perfectly good for practice. The Black Serpent growled at Long Outyen, and quickly switched to a silly tone, denying that he ever said he was going to kill someone as he believed in Buddhism. Long Outyen, shocked, told the Black Serpent that, despite this, the people are innocent, and he had to stop the black serpent from harming them. The black serpent gave Long Outyin the finger and claimed that he didn't hurt anyone, he was just out to get some sunshine. He told Long Outyin that he had killed immortal beasts in the past and that he shouldn't think he is all that just because Long Outyin's cultivation level is much higher. Long Outyin cursed the black serpent in his thoughts after hearing what he said. Humiliated, Long Outyin wished the black serpent was bloodthirsty so he wouldn't hesitate to kill it. Lu Yushi caught hold of Long Outyin's clothes and called him, stating that the black serpent was clearly afraid of Long Outyin and was only acting and that he might go somewhere and cause havoc after he left. Long Outyin stared at Lu Yushi and told her she was only using him because she came from the Thousand Feather Empire. Long Outyin stated that while he does not know who her father is, he believes he is no better than her. Long Outyin taught her some manners while Lu Yushi was kneeling on the ground. He left Lu Yushi and told her she was on her own. Lu Yushi, humiliated, threatened Long Outyin that one day she would make him kneel at the feet of their empire. Suddenly, the black serpent exhaled and informed Lu Yushi that he had overheard her talk bad about him. Lu Yushi denied the accusation Long Outyin was walking when he realized that Chen Pingan had not planned everything on purpose. He called his subordinate behind Long Outyin. A man kneeled and greeted his master. Long Outyin ordered his subordinate to mobilize all members of the Tianzuan Tower and its forces to suppress the Thousand Feather Empire. He also threatened their allies, declaring them as his sworn enemies. The man obeys his master's command. Long Outyin instructed his subordinates to deliver his message to the emperor. And the Thousand Feather Empire burned, with much blood spilled. Long Outyin's subordinate approached an unknown man and mentioned that he has a wonderful daughter. Later, Long Outyin arrived at Chen Pingan's household where he was asked if he had any idea about the Thousand Feather Empire. Long Outyin was surprised and praised Chen Pingan for being clever as he revealed he had come today to talk about the empire. Their behavior is too vicious and arrogant and he used the means to suppress them overnight, so he wanted to apologize if he overstepped his boundaries. Chen Pingan's face lit up as he did not expect Long Outyin to be so powerful and did well suppressing the empire. However, he wondered why Long Outyin was apologizing. Afterward, he questioned why Long Outyin was calling him senior. Long Outyin thought the senior was trying to test him and wondered if the rise and development of the entire Thousand Feather Empire were prepared for this. Long Outyin stood from his seat and cupped his hand. With a serious expression, he answered it was because Chen Pingan was the strongest. This time, the system was thoroughly speechless. In contrast, Chen Pingan showed a delightful smile. He thanked Long Outyin and informed him he would not entertain him today because he had something to do later. Long Outyin stammered and realized there was still a lot of suppression. Walking out of the house, Chen Pingan bid Long Outyin farewell. Before he walked out of the gate, Long Outyin was relieved the senior did not seem angry and believed he was right for thinking it was the senior's test. Left alone, Chen Pingan called out to the system. With a hint of impatience, he commanded the system to come out. Afterward, the system asked what was up, so Chen Pingan fumed as he always wondered why he was respected by them and he thought he was strong, but the system said he was weak, so he was not asking for an explanation. The system replied he should find someone to fight with and try, if he could beat it, while stand upside down. Hearing the answer, Chen Pingan could still not believe it. He questioned himself about who he should spar with. The Morong family was too nice to him, let alone fight with him. He could not go pick a fight with thugs as he would be beaten to death if he was really not strong. He wondered who he should fight. He saw Su Ling, who was asleep under the peach tree. He approached Su Ling and asked for a favor, so she woke up in confusion. With a smile, he told Su Ling to spar with him. Everyone in the courtyard thought their master was too shameless. Xiao Linger and Chen Pingan were about to start their sparring session, when Chen Pingan suggested using the bamboo pole as a weapon. Xiao Linger agreed to use the wooden bamboo pole as a weapon. Xiao Linger was still concerned but eventually agreed to Chen Pingan's plan. Chen Pingan removed his extra clothing. Xiao Linger became more worried that she might hurt him even more after he took off his extra clothing. However, Chen Pingan reassured Xiao Linger that there was nothing to be worried about, he just doesn't want his clothes to get dirty. Chen Pingan thought that his younger sister could not hit him so hard that he could just beat Xiao Linger and prove the system wrong. Chen Pingan and Xiao Linger prepared to start their sparring. All of a sudden, Xiao Linger swung the wooden bamboo pole so fast that Chen Pingan could hardly ever see it. Chen Pingan was shocked at what happened. He couldn't evade the hit. He was immediately knocked down after being struck by his younger sister's wooden bamboo pole weapon. Chen Pingan's cheeks swelled so much after the hit. Xiao Linger was concerned after hitting her brother and asked if he is okay. Chinpingan quickly got back up and touched his swollen cheeks and reassured his sister that he was fine. Chinpingan began to doubt Xiaoling's strength, for he can't dodge the attack that she made, and believed that what the system said was all true. He thought that was all impossible. He asked Xiaolinger to hit him again, which Xiaolinger eventually did without hesitation, at the same spot on his cheeks where he had previously been struck. Xiaolinger struck Chinpingan a third time after being asked to do so by Chinpingan. Later that day after their sparring session, Chinpingan was sitting on a chair feeling unwell. Suddenly, a system message popped up and told him that he already warned him. Chinpingan became enraged and told the system to stop talking and leave him alone. Chinpingan thought that judging from Xiaosui's appearance, Xiaolinger might be a child from a cultivating family, which made him believe that her strength is stronger than any of the ordinary children. Xiaolinger, hiding behind a tree, asked if Chinpingan was alright. Chinpingan, still in his thoughts, believed that he might be weaker than Xiaolinger, and thought that Lan Outyen had no reason to lie to him. He quickly believed that there might be a bug. Despite being weaker than Su Ling, Chinpingan was said to possess an unusual aura, possibly due to the bug, that allowed cultivators to sense his opponent's strength. He thought that's the reason why they called him senior, and wouldn't believe that Chinpingan is actually immortal. Later that night, Chopper was talking to Little Fish while sitting at the edge of the pond, about how he had felt his dragon family's breath today. He explained to the little fish that the sensation he had was peculiar and that, despite having a lot of dragon essence inside of him, he hadn't fully utilized it. Little Fish responded to Chopper that the dragon he sensed might have consumed a dead dragon and thought that the people in the immortal world were responsible for his injuries, and God accidentally fell into the mortal world and hid. The dragon can absorb dragon essence on his own, according to Little Fish, but if the dragon is present with Little Fish, he can fully absorb the dragon essence and turn into a true dragon. Phoenix suggested that if they claim the Black Serpent and turn him into their errand boy in the future, Chopper, Little Fish, and Phoenix agreed on the idea Phoenix posed. The bronze sword appeared through the door and agreed as well. Little Fish ordered the bronze sword to go and make the Black Serpent absorb the orb that Little Fish gave him, and let him change shape and bring him back. Bronze sword would immediately comply with any orders from Little Fish. On that night, in a lush forest, a golden light is rapidly approaching the dug earth where the monster Black Serpent is located. Bronze Sword appeared in front of the crater and informed the Black Serpent that hiding was futile and that he did not come to kill him. The monster Black Serpent resurfaced, called Bronze Sword boss, and asked Bronze Sword if he needs something from him. Looking concerned, the monster Black Serpent asked if the Bronze Sword had any business with him at this time of night. Bronze Sword smiled as the Black Serpent addressed him in an honorific manner, which he had never heard before. Black Serpent was confused if had said something awful about the Bronze Sword. The Bronze Sword proceeded to converse with the Black Serpent, asking him what he had just called him. Confused, Black Serpent called Bronze Sword boss again, annoyed that the Bronze Sword was all smile. Black Serpent told him to be serious. As the Bronze Sword completely recovered, he returned to the reason why he was there in the middle of the night. A couple of big shots wanted the Black Serpent to become their errand boy. The Bronze Sword told Black Serpent that he was thoughtful and gave him two options. The first option was for him to simply agree, and the second option was for the Bronze Sword to beat him senselessly and force him to agree with him. While smiling, the Bronze Sword instructed the monster Black Serpent to select only one option. Monster Black Serpent is looking down and murmured to himself that the Bronze Sword gave such a choice there. The Bronze Sword asked the Black Serpent if he was not satisfied with the choices. Flick his finger and something exploded above the Black Serpent's head. He agreed to serve as their errand boy. As the monster Black Serpent agreed to be their errand boy, the Bronze Sword let out the orb that the little fish gave him and told him to let the monster Black Serpent absorb and eat it. The Black Serpent opened his jaws to catch the orb that the Bronze Sword threw at him and eat it. As the monster Black Serpent ate the orb, his eyes widened as he felt an incredible surge of pure dragon energy. In a split second, the monster Black Dragon felt it inside his body. After absorbing a tiny amount of dragon essence, his body felt strange. In a short time, the monster Black Serpent discovers that the orb contains a secret art of transformation. Finding about the secret art of transformation, he tried shapeshifting and the monster Black Serpent burst into smoke and transformed into a large black dog. The once monster Black Serpent is now behaving like an obedient dog, wagging his tail and moving his ear. The dog barked while salivating. Worried, the once monster Black Serpent wondered why he turned into a dog. The Bronze Sword laughed so hard that the Black Serpent became a dog. He told the Black Serpent that he was not laughing at him, that he just thought something funny. Black Serpent was humiliated by the idea of becoming a dog. Bronze Sword continues making fun of the Black Serpent's new appearance. Black Serpent thought that the Bronze Sword was obviously laughing at him and that he was not stopping anytime soon. The Bronze Sword told the Black Serpent to follow him and will show him who's the real boss. Later that night, the Bronze Sword and the Black Serpent arrived at Cheng Pingan's home. Bronze Sword smiled as he told everyone that they had returned home, proud that he had done a good job taming the Black Serpent. Upon encountering Chopper, Phoenix, and Little Fish, Black Serpent's eyes widened in surprise. He had expected to find only one tough guy and was taken aback by the realization that the entire yard was filled with strong individuals. At that moment, he felt a sense of dread wash over him, as though he had stumbled into a place he was not prepared to handle. Scared, Black Serpent greeted them. Chopper told the Bronze Sword that the trash has been trained well. Bronze Sword replied that it was all thanks to his big brothers that taught him so well. Chopper told the dog to stand up and behave like a dog in the yard, especially in front of their master, and that if Cheng Pingan began to suspect anything, the Black Serpent would perish. The Black Serpent, trembling, obeyed Chopper's command. Black Serpent thought of what was going on with his body, and just looking at Little Fish made the dragon essence in his body rise up. The Little Fish comforted the Black Serpent, assuring him that he would get used to it with time and that even many people with dragon blood would struggle to see him. The Black Dog told the Little Fish that he was doing well before asking who the Little Fish was. Little Fish apologized for not introducing himself and transformed into a true dragon known as the Holy Dragon by many. Shocked, Black Serpent reasoned that he might have retained some memories of the dragon he ate previously, as well as the name Holy Dragon. He existed before the world, with everything, and throughout time, he was the true ancestor of dragons. Scared, the Black Serpent wondered why such an existence would live in the pond in the form of a goldfish, and he pondered how terrifying their master would be. The wind suddenly blows while the leaves on the peach tree dance. A leaf falls and transforms into a person's feet, and a woman appears where the leaf fell off. Peachtree Woman called Xiao Linger and asked her to persuade Cheng Pingan to take the Black Serpent the next day. Xiao Linger woke up and obliged her sister's Peachtree's order, falling asleep once again. Outside of the castle of the Thousand Feather Empire, someone yelled that he wanted an explanation. Inside the castle, two men were having a conversation. One of them was sitting comfortably, while the other stood up, enraged, and posed a vexing question to the man he was talking to. The man sitting was calling the other man his father. Lu Jingtao, the emperor of the Thousand Feather Empire, asked his father to calm down and reassured him that Princess Lu Yushi, his daughter, had gone to find a treasure in a far and remote location. He explained that he did not know all the details about the princess's whereabouts. The enraged man's name was the imperial grandfather Lu, the emperor's father, and Princess Lu Yushi's grandfather. Grandfather Lu said that the Tianzhuan Tower completely suppressed them overnight, and that the forces that cooperated with them before were baring their fangs at them. Clueless, Emperor Lu Jingtao answered his father that he didn't know why they had turned their back on them. Lu Yushi came back and greeted her dad. After sitting on a chair, she stated that she had been on a very dangerous day and was fortunate to be smart. She inquired as to why the palace was so deserted that day. She ordered one of the palace staff to bring her some delicious tea, which annoyed Emperor Lu Jingtao since Lu Yushi seemed to be in the mood for good tea. He questioned Lu Yushi about her activities over the previous few days of her trip. Lu Yushi snarled at Lu Jingtao, telling him not to bother her and that the sect masters were so lazy. She picked up food on the plate and stated that their empire won't even raise them like dogs. Upset, Lu Jingtao told Lu Yushi that it was sure enough her fault. Confused, Lu Yushi asked her father what happened. Lu Jingtao clenched his fist and asked Grandfather Lu if he could hit his adorable grandchild. Lu Yushi was glad that her grandfather stopped the punishment of her father. Following that, Grandfather Lu desires to join his son in disciplining his granddaughter. At Cheng Pingan household, Xiao Linger woke her brother up with a happy expression. Cheng Pingan was roused by her persistent calling and asked her what was the matter. Xiao Linger told Cheng Pingan to rise and shine. After being startled by the sight of the enormous dog, Cheng Pingan asked how Xiao Linger obtained him. The dog became frightened upon seeing Cheng Pingan. Xiao Linger told Cheng Pingan that the lost dog lying outside was cute and asked if they could keep it. With doubt on his face, Cheng Pingan asked how Xiao Linger knew that the dog was lost. Xiao Linger revealed to her brother what the dog had told her, and the dog was shocked. Cheng Pingan patted his Xiao Linger on the head, not believing what she had spoken, and told her to stop making jokes. Chen Pingan assumed that the large dog was let out for a run and got lost. He suggested Xiao Linger return it to the yard in the hope that it might return to its owner when it gets tired of playing. Xiao Linger obeyed Chen Pingan. Chen Pingan reasoned that because Xiao Linger seemed to like the dog, a strange dog on this mountain might not be feral. He murmured to himself that it was better not to mess with the dog. Xiao Linger expressed disgust and informed the dog that her mission was complete, and it was not her concern if Chen Pingan did not want it. After that, she suggested the dog play by itself. The black dog was frightened by Xiao Linger's abrupt attitude changes. Uncertain of why Xiao Linger gave up so easily when she could have pretended to be her brother's adorable little sister to persuade him to let the dog stay, the enormous black dog wondered how Chen Pingan would get rid of him as he walked and lay down on the pavement. Moments later, Chen Pingan goes outside the yard and notices the dog that Xiao Linger had bought inside the house lying down in his front yard. Chen Pingan walks closer to the dog and sits down. He tells the dog to return home and not attempt to steal any bones from his property. The black dog is visibly worried when he overheard Chen Pingan speaking to him in such a manner. A system message that indicated a fresh task catches Chen Pingan's attention. Puzzled and believing that a new task had arisen after completing the previous one not long ago because this had never occurred in the previous 5 years, Chen Pingan is given a task by the system to recruit 10,000 followers for his newly founded sect in 10 days. However, when the system assigns him a duty that is extremely difficult and nearly impossible, Chen Pingan becomes hysterical. There is a second notification displayed by the system because the task does not carry a life-staking penalty. Annoyed, Chen Pingan just wants to disregard the mission because there is no consequence. Afterward, the system displays a further notification stating that if he doesn't complete the mission, his manhood will be diminished. In a fit of rage, Chen Pingan grabs a part of the system and slams it to the ground. An unknown person comes knocking on the huge door. Chen Pingan recognizes the person who came to visit him and grants them access to the residence. Grandpa Morong steps inside Chen Pingan's home, and they talk as they walk towards the house. Chen Pingan tells Grandpa Morong that he is acting all cheerful now that it seems the matter with the Thousand Feather Empire has been resolved. Grandpa Morong responds that due to Long Outyin taking action against the Empire, the construction of the sect has been completed and can now start accepting apprentices. Chen Pingan compliments Long Outyin, but he thinks that it appears that the bug with his system is too strong. Even though he can't defeat Xiao Linger, he can order someone as strong as Long Outyin around. Grandpa Morong remarks with a smile that Long Outyin is quite powerful and tells Chen Pingan that a few days ago, there was a monster in the place where they were digging for treasure and was frightened on the spot after Long Outyin arrived. Grandpa Morong notices the dog in front of him. When Chen Pingan turns around, he notices Grandpa Morong leaning towards the door with a terrified expression. Chen Pingan asks what happened to him all of a sudden. Grandpa Morong thinks that the breath of the dog is the same as the black serpent that appeared that day. Chen Pingan points out the dog and asks Grandpa Morong if he is scared of it. Grandpa Morong thinks that the appearance of the black serpent there means that it was subdued by Chen Pingan. He quickly denies the allegations and asks whether Chen Pingan was startled by the dog, as he had been saying earlier. Chen Pingan asks whether they could gather 10,000 disciples in just 10 days. Grandpa Morong agrees to his senior's request and responds with vigor. A brilliant idea comes up from Grandpa Morong's mind, and he wants Chen Pingan to lend him the dog for a few days and he'll make sure to accept 10,000 apprentices. Grandpa Morong thought that it is enough to have the black serpent accompany him.